UConn bounce back, critical win, Madison Square Garden over North Carolina, the Tar Heels, who Riley Davis told me was going to get a win in this game, and Jacob Karabatzos asked me if was a national champion. So, sorry, I'm a little feisty, if you can't tell, tonight. Are you more impressed with the result from UConn in this spot, or are you more underwhelmed with North Carolina?
I think I'm actually more impressed with UConn. Even though I was pretty impressed with them before, I don't necessarily think that UNC played all that bad, to be honest with you. Like, I think they got things from Baycott, they got things from Ingram, they got things from RJ Davis. I think they could have got a little bit more from Cormac Ryan. But when this UConn team is playing well, they are such a well-oiled machine that I don't know if there's necessarily a team that could take them down. It's going to take a very, very well-oiled machine to take them down, not just three players like North Carolina had. I mean, they were getting contributions from everybody on the floor. Cam Spencer played amazing. He was talking his stuff. He was feeling himself in MSG. I don't even think they got necessarily a good game from Clingan, but they got great things from Caraban and Newton and Castle and Diarra. And this UConn team just has such a great style. Everyone has an identity. Everyone has a role. And they're just one of the two teams in the country to me that I think when they're playing extremely well and hitting on all cylinders, maybe one of three teams in the country that if they're playing extremely well and hitting on all cylinders, I find it very hard to find another team that could beat them. So, like, if I'm a UConn fan, if I'm a North Carolina fan, I'm not too down in the dumps because I feel like you took a national title contenders pretty much best punch, and your best punch just wasn't enough.
Yeah. I'm surprised that's your answer just because you've been so out on UNC lately. That seems like a departure for you.
I think I was being somewhat tough on the UNC team just a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like my message was misconstrued what I was saying about this UNC team. I just think that, at the end of the day, what does I'm trying to think how I kind of want to word this. I don't necessarily think every single game you're guaranteed to get Armando Bacot's best game or RJ Davis's best game. I just think they're kind of streaky-ish players. I think they're good players, but they're somewhat streaky and inconsistent at times, and sometimes in the big moment. Evident of a team that misses the tournament last year. Like, I feel like some of that is still part of it. It's not just get rid of Caleb Love and everything goes away. I think Harrison Ingram was really good in this game. I think he's been an incredible add for the team. I think Harrison Ingram is UNC's best player. But like I said, I just think that UConn's on a different level than this North Carolina team.
Do you think this was the A game of RJ Davis and Armando Bacot? For the record, the numbers, I mean, not to box score watch it, but numbers, RJ Davis had 26 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 4 for 8 from 3. Armando Bacot had 13 and 13 with 5 assists and a block.
Yeah, I think I'd probably call it like a B Mondo game. I thought RJ Davis had a really, really good game. Like, I would give it an A. I thought Armando Bacot could have done a little bit more in this game, especially when I thought Clingan wasn't playing as well. I thought he could have had like a 20-20 type game, which he has the capability to do. But yeah, I also think UConn just did a really good job also of defensively doing things against them that made them uncomfortable. They were playing with a swagger. They were talking shit. There was technicals from both sides, which I loved. It was a high-quality basketball game between two good teams. To equate it to our conversation between Illinois and Florida Atlantic, I don't think UNC should hang their head. I didn't think Florida Atlantic should hang their head. I think two teams went at it, and the better team won.
Okay, I have a Carolina theory I'm set to unveil for the first time right now. I'm pretty excited for this. I can't wait for you to tell me if this is accurate or not. Harrison Ingram and Cormac Ryan, and to an extent, Elliot Cadeau, who I think, by the way, looked very Diet Dewan tonight again. The Dewan numbers keep coming by. I think those things that North Carolina added this summer, I think what those guys are is Carolina's floor. And that's no disrespect to Harrison Ingram, who I think I agree with you. I think he is their best player. But to me, what those guys have done for this Hubert Davis program is they have redefined what the floor of this North Carolina team is. Because last year they were a very low floor basketball team, even though they had all the talent. It was like, if they don't show up, they're going to be awful. I don't really think there is a game this year North Carolina is going to be awful in, because I think Harrison Ingram is steady. And I think Harrison Ingram is always going to be productive, even on his bad nights. And it gives you more options, right? I think Cormac Ryan is who he is. He's never going to blow you away, but he's a guy who is going to give you what he gives you out there, even if he misses shots. He's a playable player. And Cadeau, no offense, he could be totally different by March. He could be totally different a year from now. I don't know. To me, Cadeau is who he is. He's a very unselfish guy who makes everybody else better, but isn't going to necessarily elevate individual performances that go win you a game. He's going to rely on other guys to make the shots he creates for them. That's a really high floor. Like, those guys now give this team a top 20 in the country floor. The ceiling for North Carolina is entirely dependent on Armando Bacot and RJ Davis. Those guys define if this team is a national title team or if this team is the 20th best team in the country.
You want to know something about those guys as well, though?
What?
I don't think they provide any defensive resistance. I thought this UConn team had absolutely no fear whatsoever going to the basket, like, at all.
I think I think that's accurate.
I mean, I haven't looked. Let me actually pull up the box score, because I'd be very interested to see what UConn shot from the field. Because to me, I mean, they were getting to the basket at will and getting easy shots, like, anytime they wanted to. I mean, they shot 52% from the field. And it seemed that every time looking at it, it was guys going to the basket, finishing strong, and really having no issue going at Armando Bacot at the rim, because he is not a rim protecting big. I think it's a lot to ask for him, but at the same time, like, a guy who has been there for so long, isn't that maybe like the next step for him, or like a step in progression for him to be I don't know what you want to call it. Like, maybe he takes a step in leadership, maybe he takes a step in accountability for what happened last year, which I think he actually has done, which I give him credit for. But maybe the step is defensively. I mean, you let a team shoot 52% from the field, I feel like there's not much resistance at the rim or making it hard on the other team to score. And I mean, they gave up 87 points in this game.
Yeah, I think they're just not great defenders. That I don't think that's going to change. I don't think that's like Armando needs to make a decision that is going to improve there. I also think, like, tonight, the story there was not necessarily those guys put up zero resistance. I thought the story was UConn's really, really good offensively. So
they're so damn good.
Yeah, they're incredible. I mean, was this the Cam Spencer game? Like, clearly it was. He finishes with 23, had 6 assists. He had 7 total rebounds, but he was talking that shit also. Like, where did this come from?
I don't know. Madison Square Garden's Cam Spencer's a bad MFer. He was letting it be known that he was getting buckets, and I'm a big advocate of getting buckets and letting the other team know that you gave them buckets.
Yeah, we love that over here.
It was a high quality just setting for the Jimmy V. It was a Jimmy V classic. Yeah, Jimmy V classic. Like, just 2 great games in the Garden.
Hey, tip your cap to Jimmy V. While we're here, we might as well. One of the true legends in our sport, you know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Never give up. Don't ever give up, Cart.
Unless you're Michigan State, give up.
Yeah, was it you? No, it was me. I said UConn today in a different segment on the Sleepers podcast, which subscribe. You can listen to 5 days a week, Monday through Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on the YouTube channel. I said UConn's my title pick. I didn't see anything tonight that would have changed that. I think I trust this team most in like an elimination game setting than any other team in the country, mostly because I think Tristan Newton is a monster. He does so much for this team. And I think UConn's at their best when Newton doesn't have to be the scorer of the team. Like, I think they're at their best when Caraban's scoring and Spencer's scoring and Clingan's rim running.
Where the F did they get Alex Caraban from?
You're supposed to know that. You're supposed to know where all the grassroots guys come.
This is crazy.
He's from Southborough, Massachusetts.
Okay, so he was destined to be a UConn player.
He kind of looks like he would have Ben Affleck's accent.
He looks like he knows Niels Giffey.
He might have been an extra in the town. That's my read on Alex. Yeah, just really good team. Really, really good team. I wish Cam Spencer would have hit these shots against Kansas because would have won a couple bets had that happened. But
Caraban's favorite actor is definitely Mark Wahlberg.
there was a question on Donovan Clingan in our Discord in the game thread of this game. Feel obligated to read it, just given some conversations that have happened the last couple of days. It read, this was not my question. This was from a member of the Sleepers community. Said, what does Donovan Clingan actually do well on a basketball court? Do you have an answer to that?
I will say when Donovan Clingan is healthy on a basketball court, he is an elite rim protector.
So you still think he's just very far from healthy?
I think he is.
Okay.
I refuse to believe what I saw last year was just false.
Yeah,
I just think it's
smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, I refuse.
Okay. I hope that's the case. I hope he gets healthy more than anything, because if they get the version of Donovan Clingan that was there during the NCAA tournament last year on this team in a 30-minute a game role, then they are no doubt the number one team in the country.
How scary is this team?
Terrifying.
I am terrified of two teams in the country. I am terrified of UConn, and I am terrified of Arizona.
You're giving too much credit to Arizona. You really are. And I like Arizona, but like, again, they opened the door wide open for your horrible team to go steal a game from them. Like, UConn's not doing that. You get down 50.
Maybe that win in Cameron is not as impressive as we thought initially.
UConn gets up 15 on Michigan State. It's 30 before the game ends. And like, thank you, goodbye. Dan Hurley's like blowing kisses on the way out. Like, and I like Arizona. I think they're a very good basketball team. I don't think they deserve the fear level that you're saying UConn does.
Is there a coach you fear more in the country than Hurley?
Oh, God, no. He's so scary. No, Bill Self. Bill Self. Yeah, I mean, of course, Bill Self. Also, Bill Self just beat Dan Hurley.
Yeah, true. Hurley's next. Once Self finally hangs it up, Hurley's the most scary.
I think it's Bill Self. Then I think it's Hurley when he's not playing. No, it's Hurley when he's not playing Self. Then it's Self. Then it's Hurley.
Yeah.
Those are my three. Okay. All right. Any final thoughts on this game?
Great win by UConn. Great win by UConn. I think North Carolina wins the ACC.
Ooh, I like that pick. Yeah, I like that pick. This is not a game where we feel bad about North Carolina after it. This is yeah. I think that you could replace North Carolina's bench with your new men's league team, and they would get better.
You could wait. You said replace who?
I think North Carolina's bench unit, which consists of Paxson Wojcik, Jalen Withers, Seth Trimble, and Jalen Washington, could be replaced with your new men's league team, and they would improve.
DK does have a little Jalen Withers to him.
I think you would bring a mental edge that is seriously needed to Armando Bacot. And I think Z Hirth, when healthy, is a better player than Paxson Wojcik right now.
Definitely better than Trimble.
Trimble's the one out of that group of four I'm like kind of keeping an eye on at least. But like,
yeah, I know you're keeping an eye on him because if he ever decides to call it quits,
no.
Or UNC, you want him in the blue.
I would never encourage anyone to come to Ann Arbor right now. That's just the truth.
Oh, that's big of you.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. Look out for the best interest of these kids. Somebody's got to, All right.
True.
Congrats, UConn, but also congrats, North Carolina, because I feel like you kind of won us over just by losing by 11 in this game. I don't know how that happened, but listen to the Pod is the Roof on the Field of 68 with Riley Davis and Jacob Karabatzos, who still think you could win a national championship this year.